2022 is coming to an end, so I thought it'd be really fun to sit down and share with you all what I think are the best makeup launches of the year. So I've narrowed it down to 10 products, which was really hard. And I actually had so many other things in this pile of like my favorites from the year. But then as I looked them up, because I wasn't quite sure if some of the items were launched in 2022, and in fact they were not. So I had to take them out, even though I use them so much throughout the year. They are like what I was thinking were my favorites of 2022, but since they were launched in 2021, I had to push them aside. So now I have my top 10 and let's get right into it. But before I do, give this video a big thumbs up. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss my future videos. And now let me show you my top 10. Now the first couple products are not going to be in a particular order, but when I get to the top 3, it will be a top 3 because I have a very specific top 3. But to start, Laura Mercier came out with a newly reformulated translucent loose powder. I've been a fan of the original powder for the last decade. This one's just ultra fine. It's extremely blurring. I find it to be incredible for more mature skin or more dry skin, but it also works really well on oily skin. It works good for all skin types. They do need to make another shade in this newly reformulated super smoothing blurring one because this one does not work great on deeper skin tones. So just an FYI. But this new formulation is really nice. I was really impressed by it. I find myself grabbing it constantly in my makeup kit professionally, and it's a really impressive powder. So good for them. They did a great job. I think by far it's much better than the original old school translucent loose powder. So if you're out of that one and you're a fan of that one, next time pick this one up. You're not going to be disappointed. Next up is something I got just recently. It's from Valentinobeauty. To be honest, I didn't think there was ever a chance in this life of mine that I would receive PR from Valentinobeauty. Just to be straight up with you, I never ever thought that I would be on their radar. But lo and behold, a Valentinobeauty box came to my doorstep and it was filled with a couple of things. And this was one of the items that was in that PR box. And I'm super grateful. I mean, Valentinobeauty, they have some incredibly high-end, obviously it's Valentino, but like super luxurious makeup. One of the items that was in this PR box that came with this foundation was an insanely stunning blush. All right, it's right here because my makeup kit is all down below me, but this blush, okay, fine, I'll just show you together because they are so stunning, it's ridiculous. But I just felt weird about putting the one blush, I don't know. This just stood out to me more, but now that I think about it, this blush is insane. It's so beautiful. It's the eye to cheek blush. Now, this is where I'm confused because mine just says number 5. So I have no idea what this name is. I know that it has a name because other people have talked about it. So if you know the name of this blush, please let me know in the comments because mine just says number 5, which I'm sure I could look up the name. I'll look it up. I'll link it. I'll do all the things. It'll be in the description box. Don't worry. But this blush is just beautiful. You know, it's just a beautiful blush. It's a beautiful, flattering, like really universally flattering pink. It's stunning. So they gifted me this and of course the foundation, which was the original item that I had in this top 10. I took this with me to London and I wore it every single day for like 8 days straight or however many days I was gone. I think it was 8 days. I felt like this looked so pretty on my skin. I loved the way it felt. It felt really lightweight. It didn't feel heavy. The finish of it was beautiful. It's like a beautiful satin, but a little more glowy finish. I don't even want to talk about the fact that it has SPF 25 in it because that's not something that should be a selling point with foundation. So don't count on it. But just the formula alone and the way it sat on my skin and the way it was very long wearing. I would put this on first thing early in the morning. And you know me, or anybody that knows me knows that I put my makeup on in the morning and I don't touch it up. I just leave it because I go to work and I touch up other people all throughout the day. So the last person that I'm going to touch up is myself unless I really have to. But I didn't have to with this. I still looked fresh as a daisy at the end of the day wearing this foundation. So yeah, it's just a really nice foundation. Great formula. I will make sure I link it so you guys can see how expensive it is. But no, it's a really beautiful formula. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a really big sucker for packaging and this packaging is just it, you know? I really feel like a really fancy girl when I pull this out and I use it on myself. I just feel like I'm treating myself to like a 5-star dinner. It's weird. So that's part of my top 10 for all those reasons. Another item that I took with me to London when I went was the Danessa Myricks Dew Wet Balm. And this was another item that even my husband had to help me look up when this was launched. We're still not quite sure, but all of the reviews on the website were from 2022. So we think that we're safe. This is stunning if you are someone who is looking for that glass skin look in a makeup product. You don't need to look anywhere else but this. This literally gives you a glass skin look. I bought this one because it was the most neutral out of all the ones I saw. It works on every single skin tone. I know because I've used this on every single skin tone. If you're light to deep, it's stunning. I'm gonna show you just really quick too what it looks like on the top of my hand. But anyway, it's a great formula. It gives you that beautiful, dewy, wet, balmy look. It gives you that instant glass skin look as well. I love this, especially as just like a fun topper. So if I'm finishing someone's eye makeup and I just want like that extra pizzazz, I'll add a little bit of this just to right here in the inner part of the, like above the tear duct. And since this area right here doesn't tend to crease as much, it just looks beautiful all night. It sparkles. And if you take like flash pictures with this on, especially on your cheek, you just look like you have the most drenched in moisture, glowy skin. So this had to be on my list. It just had to. It's so impressive. I held off from purchasing this new launch from Charlotte Tilbury for the longest time, like until the cows came home or the pigs came home. Till the cows came home? I don't know. I think that's a saying. But I finally bought it for a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. If you have not seen that video, I'll make sure you can see it right somewhere around here, or it'll be linked. It'll pop up somewhere in your feed where you're gonna have to watch it, because I use this bronzer for that video and it's stupid pretty. It's easy to use. Like, it just checks all the boxes. It's easy to use. It's easy to blend. The colors are great. She only has 4 colors, and I think that she did a great job of the 4 colors that she did launch. This is the shade number 2. I was so impressed by it that I had to go out and buy another one to put in my professional makeup kit, and I'm so happy that I did, because I grab this all the time. So I need to go out and get a couple more shades for my makeup kit, even though I don't have the space for it. And I don't want to depot this. Like, there's no way, even though I'm a professional makeup artist and I should depot things, you know, to save space and like weight, there's no way I'm going to depot this. This is way too nice. Like, how could you open this beauty up, carve it out, destroy it, and then throw this out? No, it's not happening. If you have not tried this and you're looking for a cream bronzer, I highly suggest you either give this a swatch, test it out, or just go pick it up, because you will not be disappointed. I think this is just a great cream bronzer, probably the best cream bronzer. Yeah, I'd say this was definitely the best cream bronzer that launched in 2022, in my opinion. Leave me a comment if you agree. I'm sure you will agree though if you've tried it. On to another cream bronzer. Now you might be thinking, like, why would I need both of these? Like, what's the difference between both of these? They're both cream bronzers. They both look like bronzers, right? But no. This is like fully pigmented, whereas this one, it's the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer from Makeup by Mario. I have the shade medium dark. I think this is a really great neutral. So if you're my skin tone, a little bit deeper or a little bit lighter, this is going to be a perfect shade for you. But what I like about this one in particular is, here's the thing. As a makeup artist, it's hard to find bronzers for clients to have more of like an olive undertone. And olive is a very specific undertone that is not the most common. And if someone has olive skin, not to go on a whole rant, but if someone has olive skin, I have olive skin. I don't have the most olivey skin, but I have olive skin. But if someone has even more olive skin compared to me, and then you go and put something like a more red or orangey bronzer on them, the difference in those two undertones is going to be so stark and so severe that it's just going to look like they have a ton of makeup on. It's going to be like really noticeable makeup. The reason why this is such a standout shade in particular and product is because this is a beautiful olive, like soft olive undertone. So this looks so incredible on any of my clients to have a more warm olive undertone. Sorry to get all, makeup artistry on you. You could fast forward that whole part if you want to, but it's part of the reason why I really love this product, and it's part of the reason why it's high up in my top 10, because it's just so impressive. It's a very sheer bronzer, and it almost just gives you like a very, very, very soft wash of color. So if you want something that's really natural and just gives you like an undetectable, healthy amount of glow and color, this is for you. It's incredibly easy to use. You don't have to be great at blending. Makeup by Mario is a pro makeup artist, so all of his formulations and just like the products that he comes out with, they're just high performance products. He knows what he's doing. This product is just a really big standout product to me. So again, if you're looking for those things, like a sheer, glowy, beautiful, easy to use bronzer that's just gonna enhance your skin, get that product. It's amazing. Speaking of amazing, this launched early on in, I wanna say spring of 2022. So what I think is really unique about this product, well, there's a lot of things I think that are really unique about this product. First of all, BBB cream. And it really is so different from like your typical BB creams that are on the market. And when I first bought this, that's exactly what I thought I was going to get. I thought I was gonna get something that's more like glowy, a little more sheer. You know, it comes in a tube. It's very like along the lines of like a tinted moisturizer as far as like the packaging goes and the way it's like marketed. I thought for sure it was gonna be like a sheer, more like lightweight beauty balm or tinted moisturizer, right? It's not at all. This gives me a medium amount of coverage. You can even build it up to be a full coverage. It looks instantly smooth on your skin, like instantly. It goes on, it blurs your pores, it blurs skin texture. I have found that this works great on all different skin types and textures. So if you have oily skin, mature skin, dry skin, combo skin, young skin, acne prone, like literally this checks all the boxes, and that's one of the reasons why it's in my top 10. It's just a really impressive formula, and the way it sits on the skin is just, I haven't seen a product like this sit on the skin in a long time. I don't think ever. Like I don't think I've ever seen a finish like this in a what's considered a beauty balm. And OneSize just really knocks it out of the park. I think with this formula, it's really unique. I don't think there's really anything else out there. The closest thing that comes to this that I can think of and that I've tried is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream Matte. But even that is completely different from this. That doesn't hold a candle to this. If you're looking for something that has a sunscreen, like a beauty balm that has a sunscreen, which they typically do, you might be disappointed that this doesn't have a sunscreen, but ultimately I'm sorry to tell you that you shouldn't rely on the sunscreen that's in makeup anyway, because it's not enough to protect your skin. But another reason why I like this is I have more oily skin. And on top of it, I wear tons and tons of serums and moisturizers, and the way this sits on top of my skin and all those things, and the way it wears throughout the day is just really impressive. It's a solid product. They have amazing products as well. I love their eyeliners, their eyeshadows. You know I love their loose powder. So check it out. If you have not yet, I highly suggest you go pick it up. It's a really impressive formula that came out in 2022. This next one might be a little unexpected, but maybe if you know me personally, it's not unexpected. It's the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalker Bronzing Palette. So when this first came out, I think there was a lot of confusion on whether it was a bronzer palette or an eyeshadow palette. It's actually both. So it's pretty genius. It's like all their bronzer shades, or most of their bronzer shades, like their powder bronzers, in one palette. And then you also get 2 highlighting shades for either highlighting your face or of course to use as an eyeshadow. The reason why this made my top 10 is because of the sheer amount of how much I've used it. I use this constantly. You see me use it on YouTube. I love the colors. I'm a big fan of Fenty Beauty's powder bronzers just in general. So the fact that they have them all in a palette is really convenient. But the one thing I will point out is I don't use this as a face bronzer palette. And the reason for that is, how can you take a big bronzer brush and dip it into one of these and then get a nice, even, cohesive application? You can't. You really can't. But the reason why I do love this is because if you know me, I love to use bronzers, like face bronzers, as eyeshadow all the time. So this is just like, it's like someone took all my favorite Fenty powder bronzers, literally, threw them in a compact palette for me to use specifically on eyes. It's like they read my mind that I would utilize this all the time and that it would be like such a hit for me. So it's such a hit. I use it to this day all the time. Beautiful shades, of course. They're all matte, and then you get the 2 shimmers, and these are stunning. I use these both wet or dry, and it's just a really great palette. So I think, I will say, out of all the items that I'm talking about today, I think this is the most underrated launch of 2022. I think it got a lot of hate for some reason, just because there was like confusion and people were talking a lot of crap about it. I don't get it. I think it's great. I think it's solid. If you like neutrals and you like neutral earth tones and bronzy colors on your eyes, you're gonna love that palette. So highly recommend it. Okay, so we made it to the top 3. My top 3 products. Now these might not be a surprise. If you really know me and you really watch my channel or you follow me on Instagram, they probably won't be a surprise. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. And these are my top 3. Number 3 is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. I have never been so wowed by a concealer in my life. I really haven't. This honestly almost takes the place of my number 1 favorite concealer, which is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealers. I'm a diehard fan of those concealers. I have about 20 in my kit sitting below me right now. I have 2 in my own personal possession. But when this was launched, the brand sent me some in PR, which thank you, Huda Beauty. I love you guys. But this concealer really just knocked my socks off. Like, honestly, it's like, I can't speak highly enough of it. I think it's incredibly smoothing. So if you're using this under your eyes, which is primarily where I use this, I also will use this, since this is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, I'll use it in certain areas to highlight, which I'm sure you've seen on my channel. But the way it sits on your skin, the way that it dries down, it's just really, I mean, they did an incredible job of this concealer. They really did. And the shade range is beautiful. All the shades are just great. Like, they did a great job of the shades. They're not too yellow. They're not too orange. They're like actual, true human being skin tones, which, believe it or not to like really rant, but believe it or not, a lot of makeup brands have a really hard time launching concealers that look like people's actual skin. But anyway, I won't go too in depth about it. I just think this is an amazing concealer, and it really is true. Like, this is a faux filter concealer. This gives you a faux filtered look to your skin. It will smooth fine lines. It really will. It's like unbelievable. And I'm not just saying that. Like, if you try this, especially around your eye area, if you have crow's feet, this is a very, very smoothing concealer. So if you're looking for a concealer, and I get asked this all the time, what I recommend for under the eyes, it's not going to crease. It's going to look smooth. It's not going to look heavy or be aging. I recommend this all the time to my followers, anyone who DMs me. Like, this is going to be one of my top recommendations for those reasons. And one of the other things I really love about it is I don't need to put a ton of powder on top of it to fully set it. It's very like self-setting, meaning that even if you didn't put powder on top of it to set, which I still recommend you do for longevity, I don't suggest you skip that, even if it's just a little itty bitty amount of powder to set it. But even if you didn't, it's going to set down to more of a satin finish. So the chances of it really creasing throughout the day is very unlikely unless you're overusing it and putting just way too much product on top, or unless you're just putting way too much product on. So once again, can't recommend it enough. I think it is the best concealer that has come out of 2022, and I don't see anything like taking its place in 2023. Who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised, but this is a fantastic concealer. If you're looking for a good concealer, especially for under the eye, highly recommend you go out and get this formula. Okay, number 2 is something that's going to be a little more fun. I've talked a lot about like complexion products and things that are like a little more basic, I guess. I've got some colors to show you all, and they're from Personacosmetics. They're the multi-stick blushes. They're basically a cream blush that you can use on your cheek, on your lips, on your eyes, hence the name multi-stick. These are the best cream blushes I have touched, used, seen of 2022. These are just phenomenal. They're just a great, great formula. And not only are they a great formula, the colors that Persona came out with are just amazing. They're just perfect colors. They're everything that you need and that you could possibly want in a cream blush. And Persona Cosmetics is a smaller brand. I guess I'd consider them more of like an indie brand. They're female owned, which hell yeah, fully support that. The owner is amazing. She's also beautiful, and she's just come out with some incredible products that I love. Like, I also love their eyeliners, their eyeshadow palette, so many other things. They also have amazing powder blushes as well. But these really stood out to me as one of the top launches of 2022. You've probably seen them around. I know you've seen them on my YouTube and my Instagram because I use them all the time. But I want to show you the colors because they're so beautiful. Now, originally they launched with 3 shades. They launched with this bright red, which is called Kiss. They launched with Bubble, which is like a bubblegum pink. So pretty, it's ridiculous. And they also launched with a neutral named Teddy. Teddy is like, me and Teddy are like BFS. Like, Teddy goes to work with me every single day. And it's one of the first products I pull out of my makeup kit when I'm doing some of my regular clients because I know it's going to look so beautiful on them. And it's just going to be such a beautiful neutral blush that goes with everything. Do I have Teddy on? And I actually have Teddy on right now, which I think Teddy works beautifully with like a bright red lip. So in case you're wondering, Teddy looks great with this kind of makeup. And they recently launched a 4th color, and that is the shade Jam. And Jam is to die for pretty. It's just perfect. It's just a beautiful, like, rich berry tone. So Kiss is like a bright red. This, of course, looks great as a lipstick, but this on so many skin tones looks incredible. So don't be afraid of a red blush. If you have really, really fair skin, if you use a pinch of this on your apples, like the apples of your cheeks, it will give you such a fresh, beautiful, like I just took a run and I'm like naturally flushed type look. But on deep skin, this red is a absolute must. I grab this all the time in my makeup kit professionally because I know it's going to be such a flattering blush color on so many of my clients, but especially my deep skin clients. This is stunning. And the last thing I want to point out about those blushes, and the reason why they're in my top 10, is because of the ease of blendability. They blend on the skin so well, so effortlessly. They're not going to be streaky. They're not going to be too dry. They're rich, they're creamy, and they're very long wearing as well. So even if you have oily skin, don't be afraid to try a formula like this because it really is long wearing, even if you do have an oilier skin type. Okay, can you guess what the #1 product is? This is my #1 favorite makeup launch of 2022. You might not be surprised. I've talked about this a lot. Like I need to stop talking about it. I probably will stop talking about it sometime in 2023. But for now, I'm still insanely impressed by this foundation. I think it is the best formula, like foundation wise. I think it's the best foundation formula that has launched in 2022. And I think even just for a long time now, this is like the most impressive foundation formula that's been launched in the last couple of years. So 2022 aside, that's great. This is better than anything I've seen in the past couple of years. And I'm shocked to say that. I really am shocked. When Hauslabs first came out, I didn't touch their makeup. Not one thing. I had no interest in it. Just to be really honest, I thought it was just kind of gimmicky. I really did. I was like, oh, okay, Lady Gaga's gonna, bust out some makeup. Okay, cool. Who made it? Like, where's it coming from? Like, what's it about? I don't know. Nothing drew me in. Nothing. But recently, if you probably all know, they reformulated and they relaunched. They had a huge brand overhaul, and I think it was so needed. I mean, so needed. I think they were only being sold on Amazon and like on their own website, and that was it, which is fine. But they didn't launch strong. So their launch was just like very underwhelming, hence why I had no interest in trying any of the products. I didn't hear anything great about any of the products. But then everything got swept away, thrown under the rug, and they came out with really incredible new formulations that were thought through. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to buy something just because it has a celebrity's name on it if I don't feel like it's thought through and like there's thought and effort put behind the brand. Because why should I, right? Why should you? None of us should. But the fact that they really took the time to rebrand and overhaul all their products, and then on top of it, they came out with a formula that's so impressive. I just can't get over it. I'm just shocked. I'm still actually shocked that I'm talking about a Lady Gaga makeup brand. But here I am, Hauslabs. They have the Tricloneskintech foundation, and I think it's just such a winner. And if you have not tried it and you're looking for a really solid foundation that literally checks every single box of what you need and what you would want your foundation to be and look like on your skin, this is it. And I wouldn't recommend it if I really didn't think so highly of it. So that's my top 10. And if you like the makeup look that I have on right now, click this video right here to see exactly how I do it. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.